Every time a developer push code in GitHub repository, it doesn't matter, it's a personal project, it's in a small team or in big companies, there are some pull requests, and human needs to spend a lot of times to review these codes, pull requests, and it usually takes a lot of time from developers. But what if an AI as the agentic AI application can help us to review the code fast, reliable, and very smart? So this is the idea behind PulseReview. The PulseReview AI is an agentic AI application based on the necessary and important requirements in the real world. So it can actually work like a senior developer who can actually review the codes in a smart way. So I will show you a demo about PulseReview AI, and you can see how this PulseReview AI can help a lot of teams. It doesn't matter, even small teams, big companies, in even public repositories or even private repositories or even locally in your computer. So this is absolutely free, 100% free, and even you can use the open source model as the brain inside of this PulseReview AI, or even you can actually use your API key from up to date and state of the art models like new models of the cloud, GPT, and other models. You have two ways to work with PulseReview AI. First of all, I just deployed this application in Vercel. PulseReview AI Vercel.app is a address you can actually open in your browser, and directly you can actually work with that. This can be good when you want to actually review codes for public repositories. But if you are actually work on private repositories, something like local using this app, the best option is you can go to this GitHub repository. This is my GitHub repository, PulseReview AI, and you can clone the whole of this GitHub repository. And all you need is actually just clone that, cd to PulseReview AI, npm install, and after that, just npm run dev. The app will be actually online on your local host 3000. So in this case, you will be sure everything stay in your computer locally without access to cloud. So this is another option. So let's try this application. I will back to this GitHub repository for more information. So in our case, let's actually check some GitHub repository. So we can actually open the demo. This is actually a demo with some dummy data. But if you want to work on an actually real GitHub repository, you can actually just click on the pull request tab. We have an option here. You can see review any public GitHub repository. Enter a GitHub repository to browse its open pull request and run a real AI review using your own API key. So what you need is just the owner and repo name or github.com owner repo. So let's start with Anthropic Claude Code public GitHub repository. You can see here we have 603 pull requests. Just imagine if Anthropic team want to actually review all these pull requests. You can see a lot of requests here, like fix dev container, fix plugin, fix scripts, a lot of things. Just imagine how much time does it take to review all of these codes. So you can see here we have 603 pull requests. Okay, all I need is just the repo name. This is cloud.code, and Anthropic as a owner. Just Control C and back to PulseReview AI, Control paste, and I have this one. Okay, just browse that, and you can see immediately it can actually identify this is a GitHub repository. This is a public GitHub repository with more than 130,000 stars. Wow. And you can see here all 603 problem that is mentioned by user. So let's click on one of them. So what we want to do here is a code review. I want to make sure, is there any critical problem about these bugs or anything, issue, pull request or not? And how this application works. When you click on the Run AI Review, it gives you this option to select one of these models. Definitely, I prefer to use the generous offer of the Groq because it's free for limited, actually it's not limited, very generous use of the API key. You can use the Google Gemini, like Gemini 2.5 Flash, OpenRouter, Anthropic Claude, you need to pay for that, or OpenAI. All of them are available. In my case, I prefer to use Groq. You can see we have a bunch of models here. I prefer to use GPT-OSS 120 billion parameters, and definitely I don't like to show you my API key. And remember, for this browser session, yeah, definitely, but your API key stays private and it cannot be shared with others. So run AI review, you can see what happened. You can see this beautiful user interface after running using Groq, OpenAI, GPT-OSS 120 billion parameters, finalizing report. And this is interesting. You can see here the AI review, specifically in our case, PulseReview AI, just check these bugs and it thinks that it is critical. Actually, it can give us a score between 0 to 100. Numbers close to 0, it means that there is not a problem about that, it's not critical. But this bug is a little bit moderate. You can see the request change. So the findings show us we have 2 critical issue, 2 medium issue, and 1 low. And you can see how much token it used, something around 6,524. The model provider is Groq, and it just takes 4 seconds. Just imagine if a real senior developer, I want to actually check this pull request, definitely it will be more than 4 seconds. But in 4 seconds, PulseReview as a senior AI code reviewer actually give us all of information. For example, okay, this one is critical. Node executable cannot run TypeScript with 97% confidence. It actually mentioned as a critical problem. Even it can provide some summary for us. You can see how interesting is that. The PR, it means that the pull request adds a new GitHub inline comment tool but contains several critical problems that prevent it from running and may cause incorrect behavior. The MCP, Model Context Protocol, server is configured to execute a TypeScript file with Node. The tool definition is syntactically incomplete and required input validation is missing. So we have test recommendation. For example, it can provide some test recommendation that we need GitHub token. We need some mock toolkit and verify that invalid combination of line and start line. So you can see how interesting it actually provides some recommendation, and even it can provide some follow-up question like, do you intend to compile index.ts to JavaScript? Can you provide the missing implementation? Will you add validation to enforce exclusive use of line versus start line pairs? So you can see how interesting that and how fast is that. So this is not like a chatbot. This is not like a RAG. This is the real agentic AI application, can do real stuff like real engineering job. This is something more than making a small and easy chatbot and some fun application. This is a real problem in the organizations, in the industry section. Just imagine you are working in a big team, and this big team actually have a lot of pull requests in a day. So it can really be helpful for a lot of big teams to review their pull requests. Definitely we like to keep human in the loop, but just imagine how much these kinds of application can help engineers in the top level to understand the issues better, to solve the problems better, and even to automate a lot of jobs in the organization. So let's try another pull request. I like to open another one. For example, I have a repository in my GitHub, and let's check this one again. Sorry, repository. Yeah, for example, this one. Yeah. And yeah, here, let's just copy this one. Or I can actually copy the whole of this. Come here, copy and paste. Just make sure you actually remove the HTTPS. You don't need that. It starts from GitHub. And you can see we have two pull requests here. The second one, and run AI review. Again, you can actually change the model. For example, let's try with the GPT OSS to 20 billion parameters. The running AI reviews is started now. And there we go. You can see here there is not actually a critical problem. It's safe, so it's not actually a big problem. It looks good. So no significant issues found. The AI review didn't identify significant cancer in this PR. So I'm glad to make this application. I think that that's really useful, at least for me, when I want to actually deploy something in the GitHub, or when I actually want to, before actually merging with the main uh, uh, branch in GitHub repository, it can be really helpful because I can actually check everything. I can actually provide any information. The good another information is here is evaluation tab. If you check evaluation tab, it's really up to date. So now we actually check the add code review plugin for the cloud code. You can see here all information about that. So it's a kind of like a terminal bio, a log. You can actually see the previous log. For example, I just test this one in today, June 5. This one today we actually solved it together, and this one's the last one when I check in my GitHub repository, and all necessary information about run 1, run 2, run 3, what happens. It's a kind of log that you can actually check what you did and what your colleague did today and other days, doesn't matter, and can be something like historical logs for your application to check everything closely. Definitely, we have other tabs like Insights. It can provide more information about other things. How, for example, I just run some things previously from the 1st of May, and I can check everything. So there's an overview tab as well. So it's a complete application that can actually cover anything, catch risky change earlier with a structured AI review, turn noisy difference into prioritized engineering insights, security, bugs, performance, and test caps, ranked by confidence. So this is something that's provided by PulseReview AI. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.